오. 만경. He was born in the park next to the city? Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's a
Okay,
park.
now I will explain about this place, Mangyongdae. Mangyongdae is the sacred place where the President Kim Il-sung was born and spent his early years. The name of Mangyongdae means the place of 10,000 of beautiful scenery. From olden times, Mangyongdae has been very famous with its beautiful scenery. So the rich people in Pyongyang bought hills here as their burial plots and built cottages for their grave keepers. This house was also one of them. The great-grandfather of the president was so poor that he could not afford a house. So he became a grave keeper for a landlord and moved to this house in 1862. From that time on, the family members of the president lived here for nearly 100 years until 1959. Well, our President Kim Il-sung was born here on April the 15th, 1912 and spent his early years. At that time, our country was under the Japanese rule. So he witnessed the sufferings of our Korean people under the colonial rule. And when he was 13 years old, he left his native home, Mangyongdae, firmly determined not to return before our Korea became independent. Since then, he led the arduous anti-Japanese armed struggle to shining victory for 20 years and finally liberated our country in 1945. In this house, there are kept in their origin all the relics used by the family members of the president through generations. Now, let's go ahead. Well, everybody, when you look around this house, please pay attention not to touch anything and not go inside and not step on that stones. Well, these are the farming tools used by the family members through generations. As you know, farming is a very difficult job. But after the liberation, the grandparents of the president still lived in this house and did farming like other farmers on their distributed lands until they passed away. Everybody, can you guess what it is? The round one in the middle? Spinning wheel at your head, right? And the beside one? Loom. Loom, yes. You know very well. This below one?
To cut this.
No idea?
To cut this.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Straw cutter.
Straw cutter.
Oh. And this straw mat was personally made by the grandfather of the president. After the liberation, when the president returned to this house for the first time, he spread the straw mat on that floor to spend the whole night with his grandparents in this house. Well, when did you arrive here, Pyongyang?
Day before yesterday.
Oh, the day before yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
So have you tasted Pyongyang cold noodles?
Every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
How's it?
3 times a day.
Good, delicious. That's the noodle press. Our President Kim Il-sung liked noodles very much. And the beside one is a straw bag used for keeping cottons.
Okay.
Cotton?
Cotton, yeah.
The
second ones are the tobacco leaves, personally cultivated and smoked by the grandfather. And the beside one is a water jar used by the mother of president. At that time, she was very poor. She couldn't buy a new one. So whenever it got cracked, she would plaster it again and again. So its black color, tone it like that white. And these below ones are used for keeping kimchi. Now, first you have tasted. Yes. And these are used for keeping soy or pea paste. This misshapen one was bought by his great-grandmother. At that time, she had no enough money to buy proper ones, so she bought it at a bargain. So when she bought it, everyone was laughing at her because it was very misshaped. But her heart bled and seemed to be torn to pieces. But she was certain that the day would surely come when she could buy proper ones and retell the sad story of this jar. So 139 years have passed since she bought it. And it's a summer house. Our president often studied with his friends and often helped his grandfather in his work on this loft. When the President Kim Il-sung was born here, the 12 members lived here. But as you can see, its kitchen utensils are not so many and not so good. And the brass bowl on the right was personally used by the President Kim Il-sung when he was young.
Get a good thing of this.
The middle photos are his grandfather and grandmother. Before the liberation, they lived a very full life, but they all fought all their children to the revolution and actively supported them in their activities. After the liberation too, they lived in this house, and then the grandfather died at the age of 84, and the grandmother at the age of 83 here in Mangyongdae. And the bottom photos show the emotional meeting of President and other family members after 20 years separation. Our President Kim Il-sung left here in 1925 and returned in 1945. In those 20 years, he never forgot his native home, Mangyongdae. But after the liberation, he was very busy in building a new country, so he couldn't visit his native home soon. So 2 months later, he finally visited here and had met their grandparents in this house. That's the family picture taken on that day. The young man in the middle is our president, and the others are his grandfather, grandmother, uncle, and aunt. The middle photo is our president when he was 30 years old. Since then, he devoted his everything for our country and our people's happiness. On his both sides are his father and his mother. His parents all devoted their whole lives for our country's liberation. Well, his father was arrested twice by Japanese police and suffered cruel tortures, so he passed away at the age of 32. His mother gave full support to husband and her son in their revolutionary activities. In those days, she got serious illness, so she passed away at the age of 40. So the parents of the president all died at the northeast of China before our country's liberation. And that desk and ink stone were used by the President Kim Il-sung when he began to learn Korean language. He began to learn Korean alphabets when he was only 3. At the age of 4, he wrote on this desk, "The independence of Korea, making up his mind to liberate our country." And then, after the liberation, on the New Year's Day in 1946, the son of President Kim Il-sung, the great General Kim Jong-il, visited here for the first time, and he wrote on that desk, "Long live General Kim Il-sung."
So.
And these are his uncle, younger brother, and cousin. All of them had already taken part in the revolution, where his uncle died at the age of 31 in the prison of the enemy. His younger brother also died at the age of 19 in the battle against Japanese imperialism. His cousin also died at the age of 30 because of the after effect of the cruel tortures of the enemy. As you can see, all the family members of the president were all ardent patriots and great revolutionaries who devoted their lives for our country's liberation. Well, love country and love nation and love people. This is the family tradition of this Mangyongdae revolutionary family. This tradition has been inherited through generations. Now it is being inherited brilliantly by our respected Marshal Kim Jong-un. So the President Kim Il-sung and the great General Kim Jong-il will always remain in the minds of our Korean people and the whole world peoples as the eternal suns, and Mangyongdae will shine more brightly as the sacred place. And our Korea will always emerge victorious in the future too, under the wise leadership of the respected Marshal Kim Jong-un. Okay, everybody, am I clearly understood?
Thank you.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
your great attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.